This week we played Alisia Dragoon for the Sega Genesis. Came out in March of 1992. According to my research, it sold poorly despite fairly good reviews. Sega Pro magazine gave it an 85 out of 100. Game Pro gave it fives, 5 out of 5s in almost every category. I don't know if you remember how they did theirs. It was like they had these faces for each category. It would be like graphics, controls, sound, game, and like anyway. It was like 5 out of 5 in all but one. I think sound they gave a 4.5. So
Sound
pretty highly reviewed.
yes, yes. So
But at the same time,
yeah.
to me, this is one of those games where you say to yourself, is there anything wrong with it? No. Is there anything that makes it stand out? Also, no. So,
Um,
yeah.
I think. Well, I mean, if you're saying is there anything wrong with the gameplay, then I would say no. There's
Yeah,
something wrong
that's what I
with it.
mean.
There's something wrong with it. So I had to look up because it's been a week and I forgot what it looks like. I made notes about the cover art,
Yeah,
and yeah, the cover art
generic.
is extremely generic, and it doesn't really it doesn't at all play into the graphics or style of the actual game. This problem still goes on today, by the way. This problem still happens
Mhm.
now. Um, I was wondering if cover art was more important back then because yeah, you did have
I think it was.
you
I
did it.
think because of video game rentals,
Yeah.
there were definitely games I rented and I liked the game. And then I would go to rent it again, and I couldn't remember what game it was, and if it had, like, a cover that had nothing to do with it, it made it less likely that I would ever rediscover that game.
Yeah. Uh, because I think if you were to just see the cover of this game,
Mhm.
you're not gonna know, like, what it is or, like, who the characters are, or what it's even gonna look like when you actually, like, put the card into the game. So, that I think
Mm.
that was my first
Even what
initial note.
genre?
Yeah. And we see that a lot, um, like where I've brought up, like, how, like, a lot of these a lot of these '90s games could just be, like, covers of romance novels or,
Mhm.
like, mythology romance novel, I don't know if that's a thing, I don't know. Um, I wanna read a note from Sega Pro, 'cause I know you put Sega Pro magazine in here, gave it 85
Mhm.
out of 100. So luckily, Out of Print Archive has archived all of these. One of the best parts of the internet, being able to find this old media. Pro tip: if your joypad has a rapid fire option, then use it. If not, get hold of one soon. It'll make life a heck of a lot easier. Beware though, using thunder all the time may mean you haven't got a big burst when you need it. Just thought that was funny um, that a publication is encouraging to, get a controller with a turbo
Yep.
button. Um, yeah, I just thought
Yeah,
that
no,
was
that
kinda
that is
funny.
funny because they were a relatively new concept, and I feel like Sega kinda relied on them a lot more. They had more alternate controllers out there, or I saw them more with that. I know the Super Nintendo had its fair share as well, but um, I don't know. I just feel like people bought them more for Sega. Like famously, they have the 6 button controller, which is what should have come standard with the system, but that's another conversation.
I I think that's like I guess why I find it the most funny is that I think I'm looking at systems now going, "Why don't you just if you want that functionality, why don't you just give us that initially?" But then, like,
Mhm.
now but then we're going back, 30 whatever years, and they're kind of saying the same thing. So so a little just little Side note about this game here. Love seeing all these old reviews of these games. What, if any, what platforming does this game remind you of? I want to get into some gameplay.
To me, it felt like a mix between like a I don't know if it's just the visual style, but like Golden Axe. I felt a little bit of Castlevania in there. Um, Alien Storm is one we haven't played. I don't think. Oh no, we did play it. It kind of reminded me of that one as well.
I didn't have a comparison for this one.
Okay.
So I want to know your ideas, but yes, Golden Axe, art style or kind of,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like the same. It's the same in my mind for some reason. That's a good point. Thought it was I thought it was a super tough game. And the bosses look great, but actually the bosses
Yeah.
might be a little bit easy compared to just the overall game. What do you think?
And that difficulty was kind of Sega's thing at the time. They were going for more of an arcade approach, whereas I feel like Nintendo understood the home console market a little better.
That damn Lion King. Okay.
Yeah. So ranking wise, this one's pretty low for me just because like I said, it was kind of forgettable. Um, I don't tend to gravitate towards this type of game anyway. So I ranked this all the way down at 131 below Ice Climber on the NES and right above Ignition Factor on the Super Nintendo. It's also in kind of the same neighborhood as Earthworm Jim, which I would also kind of compare it to gameplay style wise. So I don't know. Just not didn't click with me. This wasn't for me. I'm sure there's someone out there who loves this game. I wasn't that person.
Well, this is the first Dragoon game I've played. I don't know if
Hmm.
they're all connected or not. Dragoon. I had it
I've
at
been a Dragoon Knight in Final Fantasy.
yeah. Still haven't played Panzer Dragoon. On the
Okay.
backlog. We'll play it one afternoon, I'm sure. 78 for me, and I don't know what to compare it to. It's in the middle. And what else do I need to say before we sign off? Yeah, I think it looks nice. I think the sprites look great. I think the bosses look great. I think the uses of using different depth and like inclines, like there's like parts of it where you're going up, like you're going up at like a 45-degree angle. I think that's
Hmm.
that's unique because you have to find different ways of using the tech that you have within the game. Um, Also, I couldn't play it for that long because of how the background was moving compared to
Oh,
the uh the uh the characters. So it made me a little bit sick also.
sorry. The whole reason I brought my Switch 2 down here, I remember I said I brought it here for this segment. So they have like descriptions of games now on here. Oh, is Sega Channel not on here? Okay, that's weird. Sega Channel is not in the Nintendo Classics section. I was gonna read what they wrote, but it's not on there. Never mind. But in the future, if it's one of the games that have a little description written about them, I'm gonna read it for this segment. Um, I have Sega Channel on here, but it's not in the. That's weird. Maybe because it's called Nintendo Classics, they exclude it from that page.
Yeah, if they want to do
Yep.
Sega Classics, they need to add some more systems on there. You're gonna have to add some Game Gear or some Saturn or something.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done like some 32X or even the original Sega, the what was that called? The not the Mega Drive, not the Mega Drive, the you know what I mean, the first Sega.
I do know. I don't know the name, I guess. I thought it was Mega Drive, so I don't know.
No, that's the Isn't that the Genesis
Mega
outside
Drive is a
of a
Genesis, so
Yeah.
shows what I know about
Okay. So they do have it in the thing. So the description is Game Arts brings you a fantasy action game featuring Alissa, a girl who controls lightning. Wield auto-aiming lightning and the power of four summons to fight off attacks from all sides and blaze a path to the Sky Temple. Let me try to get in the habit of reading those at the beginning of this segment from now on.
cool. I did not know that actually. I didn't know they added to that. So that's cool.